quick and then take it from there. We're live. Hello, I'm Julian Johnson, and welcome to the network. We're so excited to have you tonight. I am so tremendously excited to have my good friend Marvin Clarke on the network tonight. Again, welcome to the network. As I shared tonight, I'm live with Marvin Clarke. He's the CEO of Change for You. He's a speaker, minister, pastor, and author. Marvin, welcome to the network.
Thank you for having me, man. It's an honor to be here, sir.
Man, I think it's more of an honor for me to have you. Man, you're one of those guys, man. You literally just came from one appointment, going to the next appointment. And man, I just want to thank you. If you're watching tonight, please put your information in the chat. We want to shout you out. We want to say thank you so much for tuning in tonight with the one and only Marvin Clarke. And tonight, we're going to keep it real tonight. I don't know any other way to do it. Every week on the network, we are here to find community. We're here to gain connections and to experience some compassion. Every week we'll have a special guest. And this week's special guest is Marvin Clarke from Change for You. Thank you again for being here tonight, man. Man, so what's up? What's up? What's up?
Man, I'm enjoying life. I am so blessed. I'm honored. When I think about this opportunity, could you hear me?
I can't hear you.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
I can't hear you.
All right.
All right, we got a technical
Can you hear me
difficulty.
now?
Marvin, he's coming right back. We got some love, showing some love on here. And Marvin, can you hear me? Thumbs up. Oh, we can hear you both. All right. So I can't hear
Can you
Marvin.
hear me now?
I can hear you now. Perfect.
Okay, great.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you so much, Marvin. We got messages saying we can hear you both. All right. Thank you so much, Olivia. Thank you so much, Al. Man, Marvin, man, I want to just thank you so much for coming on, taking out your time. And I know you talk a lot about changes, but could you tell me a little bit, man, about what kind of what kind of led you to want to make some changes in your life?
So, I think many other people have different stories, and that's important to own your own story. And for me, my story that I own is that I was pretty much comfortable and complacent where I was dealing with some of the issues in my life. One of the issues that sticks out the most that I wrote a book about recently is the issue of weight. I was a pretty heavy set guy, and I was enjoying, my big life, if you will. But I realized that it was kind of plateauing, and I couldn't rise above what I felt that God was calling me to, and opportunities were presenting to me. And so I decided to make some changes. And so I would say it was a painful reality that kind of catapulted me into a position of saying, let's do better, Marvin, on different levels of your life, spiritually, mentally, socially, and physically. And so that's what kind of started and sparked this change and transformation for me on that level.
Now, Marvin, so I heard you talk a lot about the desire for it, and I'm curious to know, man, kind of where did you start from a weight perspective? Because some people on here trying to make changes. This quarantine got everybody messed up. Everybody's trying to do something or trying to act like they're doing something anyway. Put it out on social media, only showing the pictures they want everybody to see. But man, how much weight did you actually? What was your max, and how much did you lose?
Yeah, so I was about 540 pounds. And so I dropped, I think I want to say about 260.
Good God Almighty.
Yeah, so and it was a journey. It took a little while, but I had to remain consistent, and it wasn't easy.
Yeah.
But I understood the situation at hand, which was to some degree life or death. I was pretty much okay from the standpoint from the doctors. They said you're okay. I wasn't on any blood pressure medicine or anything of that sort. but I just didn't feel like myself. I had a real bad situation of sleep apnea. And so I was on a machine and I was using that. But just when it came to opportunities, I just wasn't comfortable with that size. And so I said, okay, let me try and make a decision to lose this weight. And the opportunity presented itself. I don't want to make it seem like it was just me that had a light that came on in my mind, but there was a situation that rose. And when it rose, I said, okay, I'm going to take that opportunity. And so I took the chance of starting this pro shake, and the rest was history.
So you're telling me that it wasn't no weight loss surgery, it wasn't anything, but it was just determination and the pro shake. Are you serious, man?
Yeah. So now I will tell you, I'm no doctor, at least no medical doctor, but I wouldn't even advise this for anybody. But I think it's important that you own your own situation, know your body, and to some degree follow the spirit. You know, that's one of my things. And so I actually had broccoli and cauliflower,
Wow.
those two things, for breakfast, lunch, and dinner for about 6 months.
Get out of here,
And this
man.
pro shake. Yeah. And so it was difficult because, you know, being at a church, a lot of my members, this particular church that I was pastoring, they like to feed their pastor.
Yeah.
And to not accept their food is disrespect on a whole nother level. And
Wow.
so it kind of forced me to let it out the bag a little bit, that I was trying to make this adjustment in my life. And so they understood that it wasn't nothing personal. I didn't dislike your food. It was me just trying to like myself a little more.
Yo, man. So you're telling me that that somebody said tonight that they needed that to hear that to set them free from this coronavirus diet, man.
Mm.
That you lost 260 pounds naturally by just weight management, by a mindset. And could you talk a little bit more about that mindset, man? Because I think there's a lot of people who are watching now, watching the rebroadcast, that really want to make some kind of change. They really want to grow. They really want to thrive to a large degree, but they're not ready to make those changes. And could you tell us like the steps? What did you do? I mean, you got obviously dissatisfied with your own condition. You said you were losing out on some opportunities, but man, what else kind of led? What is the process that you took in order to lose the weight, but also to change the mindset?
Yeah, excellent question, Jules. I will say, you know, some of the information I actually have in my book, called Your Change, Your Choice.
Yeah.
And one of the particular chapters in there, it's called Why. And
Mm.
everyone has their own why. You know, everyone has their own reason. And it's important to connect yourself with that reason. Above that and beyond that, I have this movement that you mentioned. I'm the CEO of Change for You. And Change for You is a literal acronym. And so it's CHANGE, the number 4, and the letter U. And the acronym is: choosing honesty allows new growth every day for you. Choosing honesty allows new growth every day for you. And so for me, Julian, I had to honestly accept the reality that I got to be honest with myself. I got to be
Mm.
honest with the opportunities that were slipping. I got to be honest with the situations where I think I could have been better and should have done better. And so in that honesty, I had to choose now that honesty, and then now accept that every single day I can make some new plans, new assessments, new goals, new dreams, so I can be a better version of myself. And it's an everyday fight,
Whew.
every single day, even now.
Mm. Man, I'm telling you, one of the unique factors about choosing honesty every day, man, I think that really you have to confront yourself. And I think a lot of people are afraid to look themselves in the mirror and say, listen, you're overweight, or man, you got all this gray hair, or you're too stressed out. I think there are too many people. We ran into somebody yesterday who whose son was about to go into the military, and they were sharing with us that they really didn't even know what to do. They wanted to make some change. They wanted something further to happen in their life, man, but they were afraid of the changes that were about to happen. She said, I'm not ready. He's ready, but I'm not ready. So, man, in addition to the process, in addition to what got you started, man, could you tell us a little bit more about this Change for You movement? Because I know it started out I think in Toronto, then Las Vegas, then California, man. You've taken it all over, and there's some people who want to connect to this movement. So could you talk a little bit more about the movement? We're going to get back to the book, but we need to talk about the movement and how the movement takes its shape and how you have gone into schools. Could you talk all about all that, man? You're just so interested and awesome, man.
Yeah, no worries. I appreciate it, man. Listen, so I've been privileged enough to do some traveling. I've been to Europe, bringing this change for you. I've been to the Caribbean, and as you said, also in Toronto, Canada. And I've also been able to speak at many different opportunities when it comes to organizations, police events where they're dealing with at-risk youth. I've gone and spoken in front of executives and organizers to address the importance of change. This thing about change for you, I think it's adaptable and acceptable to everybody. Everyone needs to change. There needs to be a transformation almost daily about where you're trying to go, what you're trying to do, and who you're trying to become. I think sometimes we can get real complacent and comfortable with the life that we have just because it's okay, you know? And I think it's important that we say to ourselves, we don't have to be okay with life. We can be great. And we don't have to just see it on television or on someone else's Instagram or Facebook. I believe when God said that you are fearfully and wonderfully made,
Yes, sir.
it was the total package. It's head to toe. It's physical, mental, spiritual, social. It's your smile. It's your eyes. It's everything about you. And so we need to use whatever gifts and calling that we have over our lives. And the only way to do that is to choose. Is to say, I'm going to do it. Wake up intentionally every day and not worry about anybody else. I mean, sometimes we can be focused on other people, and sometimes that limits us watching someone else. Believe it or not, it limits us. And I think that's something I want to highlight right there.
Please,
it limits us when we watch someone else. If you're focusing on someone else, then you're not really living the true purpose of you because you're too busy trying to be like them. And so I think it's so important, man. In this experience that I've been so privileged to be a part of, I've met some amazing, talented, gifted people, millionaires to humble people, people off the street, and everyone is desiring to change. And not just changing, but changing for themselves. Because when you change for other people, Julian, you find yourself falling off and trying to fit back into where it is that you fell off. If you're following somebody else and you find yourself changing because of them, then what happens is when they shift or they change, then you don't know what to do or where to go. And so the change you change has to be for you.
Man, Marvin, man, the way that you've broken this thing down, that you really are making it so simple, and not just simple, but practical. And the thing is, man, like Sydney says, man, we got to be ourselves. We must be me. We can't wait to try to be somebody else. We can't try to make up some other image of who we want to be. But you can't be complacent either with what God has called you to go to and grow through. So Marvin, man, you've been helping me. I've been on a journey of discovering and experiencing my own value and being able to see it, man. And you poured into me in so many ways to be able to assist me in understanding that it's not just about the change now, but it's about just getting up and seeing your own value. There might be somebody out who you're watching tonight who may not understand their value. You may not understand your worth. You may not understand what you're really made and built to do. But Marvin, could you talk a little bit more, man, about the value proposition that we have with ourselves? Too often we talk about value propositions for business sake or how we're going to leverage this skill or whatever like that. But I think it really gets down to the core with just being you and who you are. So could you talk about the value part of the change? Because, man, you can have that desire, you can have that want, you can even have the passion. But, man, where does the value part come in?
Yeah, that's an excellent question, Julian. It's an excellent question. You know, if I'm going to be totally honest with you, I think a lot of us struggle with the reality of who actually places the value on you. I think sometimes we let other people put the value on us. We get other people to put the price tag on what we are considered valued about. And I think it's important that you really go back to the foundation. For me, everybody might be different, but for me, my foundation is the word, right? And so I can go right back to that text and piggyback on it, because the text is very clear. You are fearfully and wonderfully made. And who says it? Who says it isn't just anybody. It's God. And if God looks at me and tells me I'm fearfully and wonderfully made, I might go ahead and believe that. And if I believe that my value is something that is appreciated and declared to be great by God, now I got to walk into that. And listen, I'm not going to lie to you. I grew up in a home where my father wasn't there. I grew up in a situation where we struggled financially. I grew up in a situation where we didn't really understand our value. And I don't even know a lot of my historical legacy. You know, I don't know much of my father's background. I don't know, unfortunately, much about my mother's background. It's just close cousins and uncles and nephews and nieces. But what I do know at the end of the day is I am fearfully and wonderfully made. And so that value piece is important. If you understand who you are and whose you are, then you walk in a whole different light. You don't just take anything. You don't accept anything, but you understand that you should get what you deserve. And it may not come to you because people don't understand your value, but that means you have to step up and you have to showcase that I am worthy. I should be acknowledged. I am a blessing. I am gifted. I am fearfully and wonderfully made. And so you smile with that brightness. You walk and talk with that elegance, because you know that swag doesn't come from man, the clothes you got on, but it comes straight from God.
So listen, it doesn't sound like it's crazy to have some affirmations. I am blessed. I am talented. I am skilled. I am gifted. And we got a question here that I want to take real quick. And this is from Sydney Barclay. Her question is, why is it so difficult for some believers to walk in that authority given by God? Just exactly what you're talking about. Why is it difficult for some believers to walk in that authority given by God?
Yeah, Sydney, that's an excellent question. Matter of fact, I answered that question on an episode of Turn Up Tuesday, and we'll probably get to that a little bit later. But I spoke with Devon Franklin about that exact same thing. And what I realized, Sydney, that a lot of individuals fill themselves, unfortunately, with a lot of negativity. And so it's one thing to have some positive stuff in you, but if you keep feeding negative things, you've accepted so many negative things, and you would just have, half an inch or 6 inches of positive stuff in a bucket full of negative stuff, well, then obviously you're not going to really believe it. And so there's this thing called purging that needs to happen.
Woo!
You got to get rid of some stuff. You got to get rid of some people. You got to get rid of some words that were associated with who you are if you're really trying to change. And if you take that stuff out of your life and you pour in that positivity, that affirmation every day, every single day, like clockwork, and you remind yourself during that day why it is that you said what you said about yourself in the beginning of that day, then you'll find yourself believing it more and more. And it's not easy. It's not easy. The television tells us something else. The radio tells us something else. And sometimes, unfortunately, our friends and family tell us something else. But you got to take that journey on for yourself and change for you, because you understand the value that's inside of you. Can't wait to burst out. Can't wait to burst out. But if you don't believe it, nobody else is going to believe it for you.
Man, hey, listen, man, I'm going to tell you, if nobody else wanted tonight, Sydney wants it tonight. She's asking, what are some steps to the purging? So you talked about the purging, you talked about the change, you talked about the transformation. Could you give us some action steps now about that purging, or what was the process you used in order to purge the negative thoughts, throw away the negative energy, and embrace yourself and your own identity?
Yeah, for sure. I think one of the things that's very important is that when you start thinking about purging is an uncomfortable position.
Whew.
Okay. And so no one likes to be uncomfortable.
Yeah.
But purging is uncomfortable. So let's just stay right there. You're about to purge, you're about to get uncomfortable, which means you have to now start asking yourself some real questions about you. So if somebody calls you two-faced, they call you a liar, they call you a cheater, well, here's the question. Is it true? What are you putting out there to give someone the reason or the choice and the chance to say that you are those things. And so sometimes we're doing some stuff and we're wondering why. Well, it's because you're doing it. Sometimes you're saying some stuff and you're wondering why. It's because you're actually living it out in your life. So you got to remember, in this purging, you got to write down some things. Write down some things that people are saying about you, or maybe that you believe about yourself, whether it's true or not. Just write it down and actually put it aside. And then try and write down some stuff that you believe you are. Great, wonderful, supportive, understanding, disciplined, whatever it is. And what you do is you mirror those things. You look at both of those things and you start asking yourself the question, okay, is that true? No, it's not true. Then you cross it out. Why is it not true? This is why it's not true. And so in that purging, you're now taking what's supposed to be true and you're really giving it a negative by saying, no, this is the truth about me. And you're walking in that light. And so every day you remind yourself some of the things that you feel is positive about you. Another thing that you can do as well, Sydney, if I can go here, Dr. Johnson, is that you can also entertain the idea of speaking to a small group, you know, some people that know you, some people that you trust, some people that believe in you and see where you're trying to go, and ask them to speak life into you, you know, to affirm you, to remind you about the stuff that you do, the person that you are. And so sometimes, you know, I think we don't always understand the importance of having positive friends around us. Sometimes we put more of a value on having cool friends, or what we deem as cool friends around us. But I think positive friends that want to pour into you and speak life into you is vital and essential in your change as well. So that's the whole purging process. Just on a quick little, if I can go there, a quick little 5-minute idea of purging. But if you check out this book, I lie to you not. If you check out this book, you will see some of the purging that I had to go through, and it wasn't easy. Gang affiliations, friends wondering, well, if you're gonna leave us, then we might as well leave you in a certain a way, or in your safety, in covering you and watching out over you. And so I had to make some choices. I had to purge some stuff out of me because I knew what was in me wasn't necessarily the right thing that people were seeing. And it's important for what people see.
Marvin, man, you have given us more or less a clinic. And man, the process of being able to understand who you are and also to get the gift of feedback. Man, I'm telling you, as a pastor, man, you get feedback from people who may not always want to have your back. As a person on your job, you get feedback from maybe a boss who's not interested in your true growth, but maybe trying to stick a knife in your back. And sometimes in relationship, you may not appreciate the value of the feedback. But what I hear you saying just now is that the power of being able to grow is asking people to give you feedback about your own experience, your own idea, the own identity, but also experiencing you in a reasonable way. Cherie says, that's right. Go through the process of invalidating the untruths. This is the hard work, self-awareness, and growth require. And I'll tell you, Cherie, I agree with you 100%. There's a lot of people who really want to grow, but they really don't want to do the work. People are afraid to confront their ideas. And thank you. Come on, Cherie. Come on. I can say amen to this tonight. Pastors receive an overabundance of feedback. And usually, most times, it's passive aggressive. And I think there's a lot of people who are fearful of going there with people because they don't know what they're going to get. Some people are high one day and low the next, and the opposite is true. Olivia Clarke says, when you find your truth, let go of anything that says otherwise. I think this is a powerful place to pause here. And I'm just so excited to be talking with Marvin Clarke here on the network. I look forward to coming back. We've got a few messages for you. We've got something to share that's going to be exciting. And coming up, we're going to talk a little bit more about the book, about how to make lasting change and how to talk about the road back from change. So we'll be right back in just a few moments after these messages. Thank you so much again.
Shout out to the Hip Hop Public Health. All the healthcare workers on the front line. Together, we can make a difference.
What's good, y'all? This is Doug E. Fresh coming at you live and direct. All of y'all out there, got a couple of things I want to talk to y'all about. Wash your hands, everybody. And everybody, wash your hands. 20 seconds. Come on, wash your hands, everybody. And everybody, wash your hands. My people uptown, wash your hands. My people downtown, wash your hands. People from the East Coast, wash your hands. People from the West Coast, wash your hands. That's right.
First and foremost, please listen close. Take your time, wash. Use a lot of soap from the front to the back, back to the front. Sing the hook where you at. That's exactly what we want. If you decide to leave, please take heed. Talk a social distance, at least 6 feet. On a bus or the train, riding in your car. The further you're away, then the better off you are. 20 seconds or more. You gotta be able to wash your hands like you never ever washed them before. 20 seconds or more. Don't try to wait, you'll make the greatest mistake. You need to wash them when you enter the door. 20 seconds or more. Take your time, sing a song, spit a rhyme. When you finish, you can put on some gloves. 20 seconds or more. It's very important to wash your hands. You're protecting everybody you love.
Wash your hands, everybody. And everybody, wash your hands. 20
Yo, we back with Marvin Clarke. And I'm so excited that he's talked to us about the process of purging, the process of change, the process of what it's like to be going forward in a time where people are really wanting to make change. They got time to make change, but really people don't know how to make change. So we're here with Marvin, and we're so excited to be able to see the beautiful idea of receiving the gift of feedback. Cherie's kicking us off with a comment tonight, and thank you so much, Cherie, for this comment. She said, I like Marvin's idea of creating a safe space to receive group feedback. This one take feedback from the passive aggressors with a grain. This helps one take feedback from the passive aggressors with a grain of salt. Oh, Cherie, thank you so much. I think one of the hardest things in life and the hardest things in ministry, hardest things in service is being able to filter what's really useful and what's not useful. And man, I want to talk to you a little bit about taking steps. So man, you really talk about change. You really talk about the fact that we really don't need to wait. We really talk about the fact that we really don't need to be negative. And I like the acronym that you have of change. It says choosing honesty allows new growth every day for you. So man, could you tell us a little bit about the book and some highlights of the book that you talk about your story, you talk about losses that you've had in your life, you talk about ways to change, man. Devon Franklin wrote the foreword and introduction to your book. And man, could you talk to me about what it's like to see your ideas, taking your ideas and making them actual items? So going from just a vision in your head and making it happen.
Yeah, for sure. So, you know, this book, I think it's really been in me for such a long time. I was struggling to kind of get it finished and to kind of understand how I would release it. And so I was dialoguing with Devon Franklin. He's a very good friend of mine. I've known him now for I'd say about 15 years. And so we're able to talk one day, and in us dialoguing, I shared with him the project that I was doing, and he said, man, I would love to write the foreword for it and the introduction. So he did. And I was privileged to have that. You know, it's not an everyday thing that you can just say, you know, you got a friend who's a Hollywood producer that's so willing to do that for you. So he did that for me. And the book, of course, talks about, as I shared earlier, the weight challenge that I had and that I still have to some degree, because it's always an everyday process. And he was someone that saw this in me. When we were friends such a long time ago, we used to hang out, you know, down in LA. And I remember one particular day, we talked about this on my episode of Turn Up Tuesday. We went out to the beach, and we were walking down the beach, and And he said, man, let's grab a bite to eat. And so we went to this particular restaurant that he had been to several times. And so we were there and we were eating. But my challenge was I was enjoying the food. I was enjoying the conversation. But the chair that I was sitting in was too small.
Mm.
And I remember thinking to myself, this is an amazing opportunity. I'm enjoying this amazing scenery. The food is awesome. The conversation couldn't be better, but I'm uncomfortable.
Mm.
And I think so many of us have that same challenge.
Mm-hmm.
We like certain things. We're
Mm-hmm.
enjoying certain things, but
Mm-hmm.
we're so uncomfortable with some other things. And so I remember telling him when we had him on Turn Up Tuesday, I remember telling him that, man, Devon, believe it or not, it was an awesome day, but I was so uncomfortable. And he couldn't believe it. And he said to me, Marvin, the whole time I was watching you, I thought you were great.
Mm.
And that's a lesson, Julian, because I think a lot of people seeing us, we're able to fake it
Mm.
as if life is great when it's really not.
Yeah.
And so the change that we have to make, it cannot be for any other reason but for yourself. And so I made a decision. All right, there's some things I want to change. And
Yeah.
so one of it was the weight. The other was my lifestyle. Some of it was my friends and individuals that I hang out with. I don't think they were feeding me, the right energy and spirit. Matter of fact, I tell some people sometimes in life, you got to either change your playground or change your playmates if you
Mm.
really try to rise to become the person you want to be. And so I decided, all right, I'm going to have to change my playground and change my playmates. And so some friends that I used to hang out with, I had to stop. And I didn't just think about this. I literally had to write this stuff down. Listen, I know we're in the day and age, my brother, where we always trying to put something on our phone, Samsung or Apple, you know what I'm saying? But I think there's value in you literally writing that bad boy out, okay? Because a lot of times when you write something out physically, okay, not typing, write something out. When you do that, you literally ingrain something into your mind and remind yourself that you got to do this thing I'm writing. And so I used
Mm-hmm.
to write some stuff down. This is what I want to change. This is what I want to grow in. And I started writing that stuff down. And before I knew it, I started building some things for this book that I wrote. And so in this book, I tackle, why change. I tackle some questions that are important and valuable after each chapter, pushing you and causing you to ask yourself some real questions about where you are in life's journey. And the other thing is, I think so many times people get caught up with the author. What I chose to do is I put in this book some stories of some individuals who were struggling about change.
Mm.
And so what I understand, Julian, is that change is not just my issue. It's not your issue. It's everybody's issue.
Yeah.
And that's why this movement is so important and so valuable to everybody who wants to experience change.
So Marvin, man, one of the things that I appreciate about what you just said is that I don't think you have to be superhuman in order to accomplish that. And I don't think that you have to have some kind of superpower to accomplish that. Matter of fact, on your website, you kind of talk about the fact that even being diagnosed with dyslexia doesn't have to stop you from achieving a goal of yours. And I think, man, that's the powerful part of things you talk about, man. The other thing is that studies have shown that, man, 80% of the stuff that you write down, you actually accomplish. And writing that stuff down is actually a catharsis for being able to get out not only feelings, frustrations, the people who I counsel, whether they're at the end of life or trying to make a career change or adjustment, or the executive leaders that I connect with, man, I tell them, you got to write down the frustrations that you're having with people. You have to put those down on paper. And then, just like you said exactly, describe your own value. So Olivia Clarke asked a question, and this question is, how can someone really change their mindset towards fear of accomplishing change? Some people, I guess, they get stopped before they get started. Some people talk themselves out. Some people overthink, and some people overstress. Now, I'll give you my story. in 2 seconds. Man, I've had these ideas about thriving. I called you up, Marvin, and said, hey, Marvin, man, we got to go ahead. I got to go ahead and do this Built to Thrive thing. And you said, go for it. And it took me a while to be able to do it. And I want to let you know, man, just listening to this Change for You mindset helped me out to be able, when I got the book, read the book and said, man, this is going to be the thing that is a catalyst for growth. And wherever you're watching tonight, I just want to let you know, just want to welcome you again, whether you're just watching, just picked it up. I'm Dr. Julian Johnson, and this is The Network. And tonight's our special guest is Marvin Clarke. He's talking about change, making lasting changes. And we're talking tonight about the reality that some people are afraid. Olivia just asked the question, how can somebody change their mindset towards fear of accomplishing change? So how do you change that mindset? Where do you go from there?
Yeah, excellent question. And so here's the secret. And I know some of you are going to say, seriously, is that it? I promise you, this is it. There is a lie that we have learned. And the lie is that you have to have everything before you can do something. Woo! That's it. There is a lie that you have to have everything before you do something. And that's not true. The fact that you have something, you can start to accomplish everything.
Yeah.
Do you see that?
Oh, yeah.
And so many people are always trying to say, okay, well, I don't have A, B, C. Where am I going to get A, B, C? I need money. I need resources. I need people. Believe it or not, everything that you need, you already have.
Wow.
You know, this seems to be the theme, and I'm just going to keep running with it.
Yeah.
If you hear that God says you are fearfully and wonderfully made.
Yeah.
You are fearfully and wonderfully made.
Yeah.
You are fearfully and wonderfully made. Fearfully. Things and people are fearing you. You are fearfully and wonderfully made. The components of you, your mind, your body, your voice, your thoughts, all of that encompasses greatness. And it's up to you to say, I'm going to choose to use what I have. Don't believe the hype that you have to have everything. I promise you, the best thing you can do, if you have a vision right now, if you're listening to me, you have a vision right now, you have a dream, you have a desire, you have a hope. There's something that you want to do in your life. Do not wait and believe that you have to have everything to start something. I'm suggesting to you right now, in this pandemic, in this question and doubtful time, use what you got, which is already in you, start it. And I promise you, you will look back on this day and say, oh my gosh, I could have been so much further if I just did it when I first started.
Man, Marvin, you're right, man. We've talked about this several times, and we talk at least 3 times a week about items like this, about ideas about moving forward, ideas about growing, and ideas just to keep sanity. I think too many of us who are creative, too many of us who are desiring to see things happen, are waiting for the perfect time, the perfect moment, the perfect season. And I would suggest, man, that there's really no such thing as perfect. And I agree with Cherie Moore, which said, agreed, you got to start where you are and with what you already have. And I think that, man, we're too often bad stewards of the ideas that we do not use. One of the things that I've learned from my friend Pierre Quinn, he said, look, man, he said, you're going to be a bad steward. God's going to judge you, not based on what you did not do and not based on what you did not know, but he's going to judge you based on the stuff that you did not use. He said, man, you got a computer full of information that people would want to share. Just before I got on here tonight, man, God blessed me to talk to the U.S. Navy Chapel, one of the U.S. Navy chapels in South Carolina. And right after that connection, the person said to me, look, man, I want you to start making resilience videos for the Navy.
Wow.
She said, I've been watching you and seeing what you've been doing on StreamYard. She said, could you help me? I said, sure. She poured into me. I poured into her. And I think that, man, we have to stop all this desiring to get gain, but we got to find a place where we can gain some community, we can gain connections, and where we can experience some compassion. And that's what this network is all about. And Marvin, man, you're talking about some realistic, some factual, some meaningful, some valuable, and some lasting changes. But man, you got something on this movement of change that you started. This is not only your movement, this is not a solo journey. I know that you're doing this. You're out in the streets, you're talking to people. And man, when I was on your show last week, man, you have somebody in your church that's a chef. Man, it was like she was being poured in at that moment. And I want to tell you, man, that I want to say that I've observed the movement of change in your life and in your career and in your history to be able to just go all the way out and do it. And I want to just honor you and just let you know, man, that I appreciate what you're saying. Now, man, could you talk to us? We're going to shift here a little bit. We know that you got a lot of stuff going on. We know you got a lot of stuff in the hopper. And I know that you have a lot of great things going on, man. Could you talk to us a little bit about what happens every Tuesday at 8 o'clock?
Yeah, for sure. And I want to say ditto to you, Dr. Johnson. I know that I've been following you as well. And just what you just shared is a testimony of your greatness. The fact that the Navy just asked you to now put out these videos. I mean, you're everywhere. And I appreciate what you've been doing as well. So, but yeah, on Tuesdays, man, I was able to start this thing called Turn Up Tuesday. And, you know, sometimes people want to wait till the weekend to turn up. But after the weekend, people struggle, right, with getting back the starting of the week. And so we climb into Monday, but we're really not there. And so if we're not there on Monday, we're struggling for sure on Tuesday.
Yeah.
But I want everyone to know that you can turn up. You can be excited. You can be overjoyed. You can find a reason in this season to smile, to laugh, and to turn up. And so we turn up every Tuesday on the Instagram. You can meet me there at Marvin G. Clarke, and that's on Instagram. We have a great time. I bring some great guests. Matter of fact, I think Julian was on there 2 weeks ago, and we had a fantastic time. And next week, we're going to be having Cherie. And so great things are happening on Turn Up Tuesday. We're addressing some real issues, and we're networking with other people about their story and their opportunities of how God is just moving some things. And so Turn Up Tuesday is an amazing moment. We play a little music. We go into my book, Your Change, Your Choice, and we just have a great time, man. So please, if you're out there, join me on Turn Up Tuesday.
Please.
Yeah,
Listen, let me tell you, man, that we have to be able to support and connect with each other. We got Sydney Barclay on here. She's at the Family Leadership Academy. Cherie Moore, the writing coach, is on here. We got Melissa Johnson, who is a digital content specialist. She's under the table, but she's coming out very soon. Digital content specialist.
Come out.
Invite her to come out. And I want to let you know, man, that we really don't have to do all this stuff by ourselves. Now, Marvin, man, you talk a lot about change. Look, man, you talk a lot about, man, we talked about the purge process. I felt little cuts right here on myself tonight, from that reality. But man, I think there's another reality that we can kind of deal with as well. And the reality is, Cherie said she ready to turn up on Tuesday. She ready to turn up. You better get ready. Uh-oh, Melissa's getting called out tonight. Come on out, Melissa. Come on out. Yeah, my wife, she's a digital content specialist. I'm gonna get it after this. I'm gonna be in trouble, but guess what, man? It'll be good trouble. But the reality, but I think the reality is, man, that, man, Marvin, we got these changes, right? We purged. We identified the issue. But man, my question is, how do we keep from getting overwhelmed?
Yeah.
Man, the reality is, man, we got all this stuff going on.
Yeah.
We got the changes. We're making the changes. And I really like your acronym. I got to put it up again because I just like it so much. Choosing honesty allows new growth every day. We're choosing honesty. But man, we can be so honest. Maybe I'm not this. I'm not this. I'm not this. The stuff that you're saying is actually in another book by Dr. Chris Thurman. And I'm going to tell you, man, that the power of what you're saying, I really wish people would share this. Please, if you're watching this, share this 1,000 times on Facebook. I want to bless Marvin for his faithfulness. But man, how do you keep from getting overwhelmed? You know you got a lot of changes, but
Yeah.
how do you keep from getting overwhelmed?
Yeah. One step at a time. One step at a time. And I think what's very important, Julian, is that people need to also realize that every now and then you deserve, with good reason, to vomit your frustration. That word vomit, I think, is something that we often, run away from. No one likes to really just say, I hate this, I'm mad about this, I'm struggling about this, but you have to do that. Nobody on this earth, I don't care how holy you are, I don't care how much you know about God, I got to tell you, everyone deserves a reason to just say, I'm struggling. And here's why. And so in this Change for You acronym, you see that word, choosing honesty. You got to be honest with where you are. You don't want to find yourself saying that I am good when you're not good. That's not honest. Choosing honesty will open doors. It will allow, right? So it's like a switch. You choose honesty, it will open some doors, and there'll be some new growth every day. But you got to be honest where you are. And so if you're struggling, the question is, how do you keep it together? Well, you got to find that close friend, individual, supporter, mentor that you ask, can I just tell you my frustrations right now? And let me tell you, a good mentor, a good friend won't always have answers for you, but they'll have an active listening ear for you. And you need to have those individuals around you. If you are on an island by yourself, I'm going to tell you right now, you're going to struggle to change. Because you cannot make the true transformation that you need by yourself. I know it says choosing honesty allows new growth for you. Yeah, it's for you. But at the same time, you need others to assist you to be a better version of you. And so how do I do it, man? Every day I have to accept my reality, but every day I got to be honest with my reality. And so some days I struggle. Matter of fact, if you allow me, Dr. Johnson, I'll go back to when I was in college at the time, Oakwood.
Yeah.
And I'll never forget, man, when I was struggling. I mean, I was trying to read, I was trying to study, but I wasn't the best student. And I couldn't understand why. I was applying myself. I was doing what my professors were saying to do. But for some reason, the grade that I was desiring was not coming to my fruition, to my reality. And so that's frustrating. That can make you angry.
Yes.
Right? You're doing what you think is the right thing, but I didn't know that I was dyslexic. I didn't know that.
Wow.
And so the other part of life is you got to find out about yourself. Know you. Know what's wrong with you. Know why you operate the way you do. And I guarantee you, those that are watching right now, if you were to consider spending a month, I did say a month, consider spending a month learning you. From the inside out, just learning you. What makes you tick? What makes you struggle? Now, let me give it to you on a whole nother level right here. And I know we're not necessarily planning to go here, but I'm going to switch to relationships for a second. Dr.
Go for it.
You know, this whole idea of change for you, it is something that is vital, essential, and imperative, not just for you, but for others around you.
Yes.
You see, the problem is many of us, even in relationships, we find ourselves looking for a particular partner. But the problem is you don't even know yourself. So you're projecting to someone what you think you want, but it's not what you want because you don't even know what you need.
You're right.
And so I think it's important that you spend time knowing you. When you understand you, then you're able to say, okay, this is what I want, and this is what I need, and this is what I must have. And so there's a lot of people that are struggling with relationships, marriages, and the list goes on and on. And by the way, I'm not just giving you lip service. I do have my degree in marriage and family counseling. So I'm letting you know, a lot of people walk around and they're struggling in these relationships. And it's really because they are not educated about themselves, about their
Mm-hmm.
spirit, about their desires, about their wants, about their wishes. And so it's important for us to search ourselves and then understand where we are, be honest with ourselves, and then entertain projecting that out to someone now that you find out who the real you is. Yeah.
Man, I think Marvin, what you said about finding out who the real you is, I think some people limit it and put it in a box of identity. Some people put it in a box of social status. But I think revealing who the real you is, it offers and invites a person to live life without boundaries or borders. And I
That's
think,
right.
man, part of the issue of people desiring to do that is because some people want to see growth professionally. Some people want to see growth in relationship. But I'm learning, and I've learned so far that we can't grow for anybody else. I mean, I can't grow for anybody else, but other people get blessed as a result of my growth. So, man, I'm on a constant quest every single day to thrive. I want to be tenacious. I want to have humility. I want to be resilient. I want to be innovative. I want to have value. And I also want to share my experience with somebody else. You didn't know it, but you just heard the Thrive acronym. But that's the real deal right there, that we have to have a desire, a passion, a hunger. And Marvin, man, your acronym, choosing honesty every single day, allows new growth for you. And thank you so much, man. You dropped on us some dimes, some knowledge, and other things that you have let us know about, man. You told us also, not only are you not only do you have something on Tuesday night, you got something on your website, Change for You Today. And could you tell us a little bit more, man? Your website has a lot of different stories, a lot of blog posts, a lot of realistic stuff on it. That's right, Cherie. We can't grow for anybody else. We got to grow for ourselves. That Change for You Today. Could you tell us, man, what ways we can connect with you? I know you do counseling, you do coaching, and you also do mentoring as well. So could you tell us a little bit more about the whole Change for You, the movement now? We're talking about, instead of just the changes, what is the movement? And talk a little bit more about that.
Yeah, right now we're doing something that's really cool. We're actually trying to create chapters in many different schools. I was contacted just recently for my book for some universities. They're going to be, purchasing these books and giving it out to all the freshmen, which is really cool, this coming semester. And so what we're going to be doing, we're going to actually start creating some chapters in all of these schools, because we understand this whole thing about change is necessary. Even when the students get to school, that's a level of change. And they got to make the right changes so they can stay in school and do the right things. And so we'll be dialoguing about that. I'm heading out to Oakwood University towards the end of this year to speak to the school on a Friday night and Saturday. And we're also doing a forum for a number of students that want to entertain being a part of that chapter. So there's a few things going on. On the website, you'll know that we do some mentoring, some counseling. I do some therapy with some individuals. You get all that information on www.changeforyoutoday.com. And we also have on that website this t-shirt that I'm wearing. We got that t-shirt. If you want to be a change agent, we invite you to purchase this t-shirt. And I want you to know that the funds go to a good cause. We assist individuals right now who's going through this pandemic. The funds go to some groceries for individuals in the Pompano South Beach area. And so we're welcoming all the support and assistance we can get. We're also helping a group that's out in Canada right now that's going through some struggles with this pandemic as well. So the funds are stretching, we're assisting, we're encouraging, we're motivating, and we're trying to bring change, on every different level. Spiritual to some individuals, you may not be Christian. You may be Jewish, whatever the case is. We want you to make the right changes and choices so you can be the best version of yourself. So, man, come out, support the book. Once again, it is forwarded with introduction by Devon Franklin, the movie producer, and he did a fantastic job. But I'm telling you right now, this book will change your life. It will motivate you to be a better version of you. And just because I'm on my man's show, Dr. Julian Johnson, aka Dr. J, because I'm on your show, this network, Built to Thrive, I'm going to be giving this out at a reduced cost. So if you get on Instagram or if you come on the website and you want this book, just make sure you mention that it was on Built to Thrive, and you will get that discounted price. And I pray that you'll be blessed. I want to tell you as well, Dr. Johnson, every book that goes out from my team, I individually pray over that book, because I believe that when that person receives that book and they crack that thing open, the best version of themselves is on its way.
Oh, man, Marvin, man, you left us on a great note. We're going to come right back after these messages to get a final word from you. Want to let you know there's some great things that are coming up this coming Saturday on Word Power, just like every single Saturday. This Saturday, I'll be praying for businesses. So if you got a business, you got a friend, you got a situation going on, I want to pray for you. Please send me a message, Instagram me, Facebook me, YouTube me, whatever it is. Please remember, thank you so much for subscribing to the Built to Thrive network of applications on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook. And thank you for joining this Facebook group. Also, in addition, there's something for you every single week called Finding Your Purpose. That's on YouTube, directly on YouTube. And the textbook is Finding 5 Minutes on Purpose, a book that I wrote that's just for you. In addition, coming up very soon, you'll be able to have your own personal copy of the Built to Thrive Discovery Guide, helping you to write down your story, to be able to achieve your dreams, and also to process your own grief of why the things are stopping you from going forward. We're here with Marvin Clarke. We're here talking about change. And I want to just give a little recap for those who haven't been here for a little while. You got to change your playground or your playmates. Then you got to spend a month learning you. And then you got to write down some goals on paper. We're so excited to be able to have you. And we have some comments from Keith Albury, my man, Keith Albury. We're coming with the Pastors Forum in a couple weeks with Keith Albury, Marvin Clarke, Barone Savory. It's going to be epic. And we're going to have one of our special lady pastor friends, a couple of them joining us as well. We're so excited to be able to share with you. Sydney Barclay says, this is so good. But what I need you to do is share this with somebody else. They're not going to be able to get the discount for the Your Change, Your Choice book unless you share it with them. Please share about this broadcast and also about what's coming up this Saturday. We're here every Wednesday night. We're here talking about changes, about choices. And on next week, we're going to have the one and only Pierre Quinn talking about his story transitioning from his role to another role in ministry and corporate speaking. If you want to learn how to do corporate speaking, and this man doesn't charge less than, he starts at like $4,000 or $5,000 and he gets his money. If you want to learn how to do that and do it effectively, we want to let you know that please come out on next Wednesday night. It's going to be epic. Marvin, you got the last word. Please take us out. Let us know about the changes, the choices, and the things. We also want to let you know how to get in touch with Marvin. And this is on changeforyoutoday.com. Marvin, please take us out.
Yeah. So listen, man, it has been awesome, epic. I've enjoyed myself. I appreciate being on the network. I believe and pray right now for somebody that's out there. You're trying to wonder about your journey of life. And right now you kind of tripped over into this network. You're asking yourself, what do I do? How do I become a better version of me? I want you to know that any change or choice you make, it is your change and it'll be your choice. So let's get out of the mindset of blaming everybody. Let's get out of the mindset of saying it's because of this or that. Let's say, what am I going to do tomorrow? What am I going to wake up tomorrow morning and do to be a better version of myself? There are some individuals out there right now that you know you should be studying for your PhD. There's some individuals right now that tomorrow you're going to literally get up and ask the question, can I do it? I'm suggesting tell yourself, I'm going to do it. And how you do that is you plan for it. So tonight, whatever it is you need to do, I need you to put right by your bedside the thing that you got to do. Wake up, roll over, and get in it. Stop waiting. Stop asking yourself, should I do it? Is it me? Can I do it? It is you. And right now you're on the network, and you're on this network for a reason, because God is calling you to be the best version of yourself. I'm begging you. I'm pleading with you. Please don't let your dreams be washed away. God and people and your family and yourself is depending on you. Change for you. Choosing honesty allows new growth every day. Please holler at me on Instagram, Marvin G. Clarke, or check me out on my website, www.changeforyoutoday. I will love to have you on there so we can keep this conversation going. God bless you and much love, man.
All right, please remember to tune in to Turn Up Tuesday on Instagram, Marvin G. Clarke, a change for you. Thank you, Marvin, again for being with us, man. Remember, on next week we'll have another special guest on the network, and we'll be here next week with Pierre Quinn. Until then, on Saturday morning, please remember, I'll be praying for businesses. So I need all the businesses, all the people who need some prayer, all the people who need some encouragement and support. I'll be praying for you this coming Saturday morning at 10 a.m. Until then, we'll talk to you later, and I hope you have a great week.